How are we doing, Divine Reflections? Before we get into the intro, Celestial Rising, Divine Afternoon, and Grand Night to the Divine Mirage, watching this mindful mirroring message on how to stop smoking weed. It's your Divine Reflection, Divine Observation, Divine Perception, and we are back with another choice that you made by learning through your own awareness. If you choose to and you enjoy these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. And we're at 5,317 subscribers, so let's go ahead and get up to 10K, by this year. And I do think this year, I really think that we will get to 50K. Shit, why not 100K? Let's go ahead and shoot for the stars. We might as well, because really just understand what it means to not make excuses for your addictions and just be addicted to putting in hard work. When you put in hard work, things have to come into your grace, because look at how much productivity you're doing for the activities that can help you find your future self again. Shout out to SMN Beasley 602. How can I stop smoking weed? This shit taking over. And Peace to the God said, just stop buying it. And then SM Beasley said, easier said than done. I'm from a block where that shit on every street. Easy to cope sometimes. People just want to smoke with you, but I know I said the same shit. Like, just stop buying it. So for one, SMN Beasley, understand, this goes for anybody who does smoke weed as well. Coming from somebody who has experience with weed smoking. This goes to all the smokers out there, because there are different levels to it, but I feel as if that's not you talking, but it's just your victim addiction that wants to go right back into smoking your problems away. But when you come down from that high, the things that you are running from are going to knock right at your door. They're going to ring the doorbell and say, hey, can I come in? I brought some food for you. I mean, you ordered a bunch of bullshit that you tried to run away from it, so we brought it right back to you. Don't you want to eat with us? It's a whole buffet. I mean, we got condiments, we got napkins, we got entertainment. I mean, what are you running from? What are you scared of? So the things that we paint as normal, these are the poisonous addictions that can be contradicted depending on what you're doing for the healing property behind the act or the action. Smoking weed is not bad. It becomes bad if you lose yourself in the process of smoking weed. If you are smoking weed just to do it with no intention, there's no prerogative, there's no purpose behind it, you're wasting your time. But if you're smoking weed to bring creativity upon you, if you're smoking weed to be mindful or meditate, if you're smoking weed to enhance your taste in music to where now you're producing better music, if you're smoking weed to use it as an art, or you're just doing it for the betterment for yourself and positivity or positive vibrations, then you are doing it for a higher sense that can help you get to where you're going, just depending on how you use it. But if you're using weed and you're losing yourself, you're not as productive, you're lethargic, you're just making your excuses come to the forefront of your life to where you're blaming it on everything else but yourself and your choices. If you don't take accountability, then you shouldn't be smoking weed. If you can't get through the day without even being sober, you shouldn't be smoking weed. If you are too dependent on it, then you shouldn't be smoking it. So when Peace to the God said, just stop buying it, it is easier said than done. But now the thing is, what I read using discernment, because no offense to you, by the way, my brother or my sister, but I believe you are a brother. So no offense to you, by the way. But when you said, I'm from a block where that shit on every street, that's exactly what you say to cope with your addiction. Because if not saying that you do it now because you may want to improve, which is why you asked for this video, but to anybody else, I have a bunch of smoke shops by my house too. That doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and just drive to it because I want to have the urge to smoke again. That's the whole entire point of them bringing these smoke shops near your house, your neighborhoods, because when you want to come down from just that work lifestyle, school lifestyle, just stress, relationships, kids, you got family problems, you got health problems, bills, taxes. There's so many different things going on in people's minds. We don't know why they're affording their addiction. I also say this too. If you can afford your addiction, then by all means, at least you know what you're paying for. So you're paying for death. And you know that you're already going to be dead once you, not saying that weed can kill you, but like, for example, alcohol. Somebody who can afford alcohol, they know that it's going to poison their liver or harm their kidneys, harm their arteries or intestines, all of that. So when they keep doing that, they know why they're buying it. So don't feel bad for somebody who's paying for death. They already seen what they're about to go into, so why even feel sad for them? They don't even feel sad for what they're buying, because what they're buying is normal pattern recognition for them. That's a habitual, recognized instance that their urges want them to instinctually fall in love with. When you fall in love with the instinct of going with that exact same pattern, you may think as if it's normal to go ahead and just buy it because your urges told you to do so. But we have accountability as a grown man. You tell yourself, I shouldn't have my urge weaken me. When you are smoking, you are in a weakened state. But how will you dominate those thoughts into not needing to be able to smoke, or not even wanting to smoke, because you don't have to do so? You can be high with sober thoughts, but you can also be sober with high thoughts as well. What's the difference when you're smoking? And somebody can sit here and judge weed smokers as well, but the thing is though, you can still smoke and go to the gym. You can still smoke and make videos. You can still smoke and go out and live your average everyday life, or your prominent life. Doesn't even really matter. You can do work when you're high. It's all about how strong the person's ego is being, because to push through that barrier, you have to be able to do the addiction continuously by not making excuses. So and the thing is to know your strengths. If you're smoking sativa, then you should be creative, you should be expressive, you should be doing things that can help you get to where you need to go. If you're smoking indica, then you may be chill, you may be laid back, you may have some ideas, but you may get tired depending on how strong your strand is. So now if you're smoking indica and you end up sitting back on your ideas, you won't be able to put them into where they need to go, because you see yourself chilling. You know that you got a fabulous idea that you can act on. But yeah, the weed got you just in the couch, literally. So while you just sitting there chilling, your day's going by, and then as these thoughts go by, someone else is acting upon them, to where now there isn't really a care in the world, because you're high, you're chilling, you got food, you got music, you got entertainment, you good to go. But you're losing yourself in the process, because if you keep doing that every single day and that pattern becomes normal, that means every day, every single time you want to have that moment of smoking, now it's like after those days, you're going to constantly go right back into wasting your time toward in the future. You're going to ask yourself, damn, where has the time go? Where the days go? Like, I had so much to do, but yet I feel like I wasted all my time doing nothing. But that's where we should not be getting to that moment to where we're asking ourselves, why haven't I been focusing in my youth? I wasted all these years getting high, smoking indica, not realizing that it wasn't doing anything for me besides keeping me stuck in what I was supposed to outgrow. And with hybrid, when you're smoking both of these, you really have to now push through that vibration or that veil of even wanting to be, I would say creative, but then also tired. You get that thing. So I say for me, speaking from experience, indica gets me tired depending on how active I want to be. But it takes a lot more work to do that, because of course it's what I will be smoking. Which is exactly why when you master every moment, so for one, you have to master every moment you come across. And the thing is too, for this teaching, in order to overcome weed, you have to master the thought of wanting to smoke. Because it's not you that wants to smoke, it's your ego that wants to just smoke the pattern. The same exact pattern that it wants to run away from. And the thing is too, is just basically telling itself to stop. It knows that it wants to stop, but it doesn't know how to, because you're not guiding it into doing so. Remember, you are the observer. Your ego follows what you guide yourself into seeing. So if you see yourself mastering the moment, now, remember, you come across a better moment that you can see for your future, but we'll get there in a little bit. Any type of craving will reach its peak, then go away instantly. And I think I just put any craving because remember, it's all a craving. When you're sitting there watching TV, for example, and it's just like, I want to see what's going on with this show. Let me go and smoke something real quick. That's a craving because you don't want to really do that, but it's what you're used to doing. It will reach its peak. But a lot of times with wanting to do this urge, you'll have that thought to where you can sit on it and it'll be enhanced to where it's like, I gotta do it. So it's like you're finding it. Have you ever seen somebody with like a nicotine vape and when they lose it, have you ever seen them like flip rooms or just their ego gets aggressive? That's not you. You're flipping tables, you tossing the bed over, you sitting here bickering and bitching at everybody else in the house or wherever over a vape pen. Even with alcohol or perks. I mean, but that's the thing. When you meet it at its peak, that's when it'll go away. It'll go away instantly because you're coming across a moment that you want to master. That's the thing. You have to want to master that craving. By doing that, you have to be able to meet it at its peak. When you master the vibration at its peak, then you'll be able to instantly find that pause moment. Because remember, being able to pause breaks the pattern and brings you into being in tune through self-control. Because remember, when you're pausing now, because remember, first, in order to pause, you have to want to master. It's a want to stop smoking. So you could say, yeah, to stop buying it. No, it's deeper than that. Because for one, you have to be able to go deeper than that by pausing and saying to yourself, when I break this pattern, what does that look like? Okay, so in order for you to see what that looks like, what should you be doing? Wanting to be the master of your thoughts by pausing in every moment. Every moment you have of a craving, you should now find that craving by going into a pattern of self-control. Because that's where the grown man and the grown woman is coming out. Because you're telling yourself, you know what? Me doing this, it's not helping me at any given time in my life. It's like I enjoy doing it, I appreciate it, but after a while, it gets so repetitive to where, what is the initiative for you to do it? What do you gain from doing it? And if you're lying to yourself about that, you'll say, oh, I gained so much clarity, I gained this, I'm so aware. Yeah, but then you're still lying to yourself because you can get that same exact benefit when you're sober. A lot of times people are spending so much money on this herb or this plant to where that can be your last. There's some people who need weed so bad that they can't even just live throughout the day without touching it. There's some people who can't even go a whole month without even touching it. Not saying that you have to do that, but it's like at some point you have to want to break that spell. But in order to do that though, you have to be the being in tune with your self-control. Because self-control comes from wanting to be in tune with your mastery. Because mastery is a secrecy that you got to sit with. Because remember, in order to master your thoughts, you got to be able to pause with them. And then when you pause with them, you meet the pattern. That's all it is. And the thing is too, with a pause, all you're doing is you're putting this craving on hold. That's really all it is right there. When you have that craving and want to go ahead and smoke, you say to yourself, or even when you're about to roll up, or if you have some weed, or whatever you have, or you got leaves, or you got whatever people smoke or whatever, Dutches, all that shit, papers, cones. So when before you even do it, before you even go to the plug, before you let your plug know you want to cop a gram, zip, doesn't matter, 3.5, cool. Before you even call that plug and say, you know, hey, let me get that you got 3.5 on you real quick. Before you even do that, pause. Break that pattern by having self-control. When you come across, when to text your plug, put the phone down and say, I have somewhere to be and I told myself that I want to get there by being sober. And this is where temptation is meeting me, because temptation has to approach you by testing your discipline. If you want better in life, you got to be disciplined. And the thing is, too, through discipline, you can smoke your cravings for sure. How will you push through them? Can you get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m.? Only speaking from experience, because I used to do this, and sometimes I still do it as well. Can you get up at 3 or 4 or 2 a.m., smoke you one, and still be productive throughout your day? Some people cannot do that. And you will never know that I do it as well. Because the thing is, too, you got to have self-control. Because remember, it's not a want. It's just like you think you need it, but you may desire it. And the thing is, too, we all have our addictions. So some people can't sit here and say, oh, you're a pothead or you're a weed head, you're this or you're that. You're dependent on weed. You're dependent on going to work. So you're an addict. You're dependent on water. You're an addict. You're dependent on food. You're an addict. You're dependent on driving, getting gas, paying your bills. You're an addict. Watching TV, on your phone, paying your phone bill, paying for insurance, dental appointments, buying soap, buying toothpaste, buying detergent, buying clothes, buying shoes. going to school, going to work. You are an addict. The whole world is under a drug. Their mind is the drug. Our minds is the drug dealer, and our thoughts become the addict taking the drug that our mind presents. Feed your void positivity. Now, here's the thing as well. If you just Google or even just sit with the void has no form, it has no look, it has no identity. You can't see it, you can't even touch it. You don't even know that it's there, but they call it space in scientific terms or theologies. That's the thing though. The void isn't positive or negative. That's why you feed it your intentions. The void is basically your nature that isn't bearing light. You are the light bearer that's bearing light into the void. So you have to walk into the darkness with no light upon you, because you are the light upon yourself, walking into your nature. Your nature is dark by default programming, meaning that you are chaotic by your nature. When you go opposite of that nature and you see the other side of your veil, you're seeing the light of your ignorance. So through that ignorance, you contradict what you're mastering. When you master the void, you become the master of positivity, because the void now bows at what you want it to do, because you want to feed it that vibration. That's all it is. It's like a black hole. So if you're the observer of the black hole, because think about it, all the black hole is just like the perception of your eyes. So if you turn sideways and you see your eyes, that's basically what a black hole is. It's like basically you watching what you're consuming every single day. So there are no black holes. If there was a black hole, why are we still here? So they can't exist in space. That's why science is just, it's a bunch of bullshit anyways, but we don't get into that topic. But it's clear as day though. If you want to go into that terminology, just contradict it. How the fuck can there be a black hole in the middle of our galaxy or solar system, and yet we are still here? We would have been consumed. If black holes consume everything in sight, how the hell are we still here? That makes no goddamn sense with a black hole. So you're putting a negative stigma on the identity that it can't even follow. That makes no sense to a black hole or a void anyways. So when you're observing that being or that species that's consuming gargantuan energies that have no light, that's consuming the light, that's bending itself, you are now putting yourself through a cosmic web that's weaving you into a different dimension that you can quantumly shift into by once again pausing and breaking that pattern through self-control. Weed will fill the emotional and mental gap of doing more. That's the thing right there. It'll fill the emotional and mental gap. So when you have that moment just sitting there with yourself, people smoke just to fill that void because they don't know what's there. They don't know what to feed it. They want to be positive, they want to work hard, but yet they don't want to act on it because the weed probably too strong or indica got to them. So now they're laid back, they're relaxed. You don't want to do what you want to do anymore. You had a great idea. You were about to act on it. You were about to go work out. You were about to go journal. You were about to go to work. You were about to go paint your car or whatever. But then you stopped for some strange reason. Then you stop for some strange reason. Who are you going to blame it on? I was too tired. I don't feel good. No, you don't want to work harder. If you're going to smoke, work harder. That's basically what I would say. If you're going to smoke, at least work harder. Or at least do the things that you got to do first and smoke later. If you're going to do it before, do sativa then. For one, why not be mindful? That is your drug. You can get high off of your meditation technique. So when you feel that emotional and mental gap with weed, now you don't want to do more. When you're sober, you're doing way more. When you're focus driven, you're doing way more. When you have a purpose in front of you every single day where nothing can stop you, you're doing more. But the people who don't know how to do more with this substance, they blame it on the weed. Sometimes they don't even blame it on the weed. They'll blame it on the girl, they'll blame it on life, they'll blame it on bills. No, you chose this life. You can't blame this plan for being where you want to be in life. It's not the plan's fault. You smoking it, and you shouldn't be smoking it anyways. We should be consuming it realistically. Realistically, we shouldn't be doing anything with it anyways, but we do it as a healing property. So if you can't heal this property, then you're poisoning yourself. Addressing the reasoning to smoke removes the need to do it. And here's the key point right here. You gotta put a star right here, this bad boy. Addressing. What's the reason to smoke? What is it? That's the thing. And someone will say, I just want to do it. That's not good enough for you. And you know better than that. You know better than that. What's your reason to smoke? So then when you address that reason, is that a good reason? I'm bored, so you just smoke. I'm tired, so you just smoke. I'm hungry, so you just smoke. I want to watch TV, so you just smoke. I just want to go ahead and get inside her guts, so you just smoke. I want to go to the party and have fun, so you just smoke. Man, I just want to listen to some music, so you just smoke to hear the bass or the hidden instruments in the background, the different tones, soprano, bass, tempo, and all that. So you just want to hear these different frequencies that are subliminal once you are aware of them by being open-minded. That's your reasoning. Oh, so you just want to play the game, and because you want to play the game and just be entertained by nothing, because you know that you don't have to play the game because you're over that. You're not young anymore. So not saying that you can be old or young to play the game, but you don't have that young mentality to where you're playing the game all day to where you find some fun in it. No, go do something with yourself, because when you do that and you smoke, oh, you're just basically like these bum ass niggas who play 2K and Call of Duty and WWE and Madden and all this other shit all goddamn day. They have no life. All they want to do is, all you hear in the background too on game chat, dude, doing dumb shit. It's like we're playing 2K. How the hell are you shooting fadeaway threes on two people talking about something? That's my bad, y'all. My bad. Then your man is on defense shooting wide open threes, and then what's crazy, you get the ball and you still chucking contested shots? Is your weed that strong to where you can't even function properly? Your man got 20 points and then everybody on the team is just like, not gonna say a goddamn word, but then when you check the person, now they get offended. Has the weed made niggas soft? Has the weed altered genetics to where now these niggas are bitches? A bunch of hoes smoking weed? Is weed making niggas feminine? And you can sit here and go through different articles and say it has. That's how I know you were feminine to begin with. Niggas have feminized weed. How the hell can you put gender on a plant? But wait a minute. If this is giving birth to more plants to be fruitful, to where you're burning it, is it a woman or a man? So now if you're smoking the mother, what are you giving birth to? Whose hormones? Because you can sit there, because remember, you're inhaling and you don't know what chemicals, you don't know what compounds is in that sativa or that the oil or the strain that you're smoking. So once you inhale that and then exhale it, you continuously do that by putting it within your brain as well, by getting it foggy. What are you not being clear of? What are you not seeing clarity in? Have you lost your value? Are you not as worthy when you are sober? When you're sober, do you feel more worthy? Do you feel more, it's like profound within your works in life? When you find that reason to stop smoking, do you need to do it anymore? And the thing is too, when you stop doing it for a certain period of time, you ask it, because I remember I asked myself, damn, I never need to do it in the first place. I just chose to do so. So once I went on a long hike, like cold turkey, and the thing is too, peace to the guys, I actually agree with you, because that's to me a motivating thought. Honestly, put the shit down. A lot of times when I want to go on a hiatus or quit cold turkey, I'll just throw that shit away. I'll just throw it out and I'll just stop doing it. So I'll go months, years, just not doing it. Then when I want to do it again, I smoke me one. I'm good to go, because the thing is too, I can't let disillusion stop me from doing this. That's an excuse. That's some bum ass shit, no cap. And the thing is too, if you let this stop you from living, you're weak. Own the things that trigger you into smoking. And here's the thing right here, people have a hard time doing that because they're renting out their thoughts. Own the things that trigger you into smoking. Because when you do that, there are no excuses now. So, what are the things that trigger you into smoking? So we already talked about, boredom, lust, greed, shit, anxiety as well, because you can't get anxiety from doing that. So it's like, if you know that, why are you doing that? But anyway, so a lot of people want to had their third eye awakened, first eye awakened, but identify what is the cause for this urge to notify the dorsal striatum. So I messed this up right here with this line right here. My bad, y'all. So this is called the dorsal striatum. And this is basically how it replays. All right, so yeah, the dorsal striatum into replaying this program and turn that knowing into conscious choices. So when we identify what the cause is, because what's causing you to smoke? And the thing is too, I'd rather this video be a sit down for you, a face-to-face for your own thoughts. Because remember, you're smoking with your identity. Your identity cannot smoke. You're the one smoking your identity by seeing what it needs to be clear of or be knowing of. So what is the cause that's urging you to be stuck in this replaying loop of a program? And the thing is too, when you figure that out, because remember, this is a sit down with your thoughts. I can't sit here and understand why you want to smoke. No, you got to identify that reasoning, because remember, you're blaming it on this. No, you're identifying this to be your reasoning for smoking. No, what's your reason to smoke? What's your reason to stop smoking? If some people don't have a reason to stop smoking, they won't stop smoking. But that's the thing though, you don't have a life. When you have a life, you can still live life and not have to smoke. When you understand what the identity is and what that cause is to urge you into notifying the dorsal striatum, now you'll be able to turn that knowing into a conscious choice. So consciously, if you wake up and say, I'm just gonna throw this stuff out and just not smoke for a whole year, that's a conscious choice right there. You are now, you're becoming a master. You are becoming the master of your thoughts because you consciously chose to say, you know what, I'm gonna feed this void that I want to fill up with smoking weed. I'm just gonna fill it up with positivity and then work on addressing my purpose by having self-control, because I know that I crave a better life for myself. And if you, and the thing is, so this is basically you, between you versus you. If you know that weed is a detriment in your life, put away with it or do away with it. And you know you gotta do away with it. If you can function with weed perfectly fine, don't stop doing it. Because the thing is, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, like some false spiritual leaders, weed is not good for you because it's this or that. Or I'm not going to sit here and say, doing weed is like this and you'll get this type of aroma and a positive. No, I don't give a fuck what you do with smoking weed. I ain't gonna lie, I'd rather get high than be sober. But then again, though, I love being sober because I'm still high in my thoughts. It makes no goddamn difference to me. Literally. Even when I'm sober, my thoughts get higher than themselves. But when I'm high, being sober, my thoughts still find a foundation by creating more elevation for me to ascend into. So I use it as symbology for climbing the ladder into finding more enlightenment that I get bored of. That's really why I do it. Now, niggas, so I don't have to do it because I just choose to do so. But that's because I consciously chose how to master my life. The thing is, too, I mastered life already, so I can go ahead, I can be high and lift weights for 3 or 2 hours. I can shoot some hoops for an hour and be perfectly fine. I can run, go on a walk and be high and be perfectly fine. I can make a video for an hour, 2 hours, be perfectly fine. I can fast for a week, 5 days, smoking weed too, perfectly fine. Well, I want to eat some food for sure, I'm gonna have the munchies and all that, but that's exactly why I'm mastering self-control. That's really why I do it. I do it because I want to master this bad boy right here. I play with it. That's how I see it. To me, weed is a teacher. So I treat her as such. What can I learn from her? If she tells me stop smoking me, stop consuming me, yes ma'am. That's how I see it. I have respect for women. So yeah, own the things that trigger you into smoking. Once you know that, you turn that knowing into a conscious choice. It can't trigger you anymore. So when you play the game and you see or you hear somebody smoking weed, that could be a trigger. And I say a trigger because if you're playing whatever game it is and you're just in game chat, your mic's probably muted or whatever, or even in your party, or even if you're a friend group, if you're with your friends and you smell the weed, so if you, hey, that's that loud pack. Or if you're with your friends and you hear somebody saying, hey, you don't want to roll up? Remember, you don't want to smoke anymore. Be a man. Be a woman. Your friends say, hey, y'all want to smoke? Don't get peer pressured into smoking. You told yourself you're gonna stop smoking. Own up to that. Own up to that. Choose a high that the future appreciates. Remember, choose a high that the future appreciates. Because the thing is too, what does this appreciation look like? In order to see that, you gotta be able to choose how high you wanna get in that vibration. You can do it when you're high, you can do it when you're sober. Either way it goes, you gotta sit with yourself and find that. You gotta be able to find this image of where you already are. Being the version of you that is free from the spell and has already rewired a quantum identity shift into your life currently. So remember, you're being the version of you that is free from the spell. And to free yourself from the spell, you have to confront it. And then don't get mad at it, don't bicker with it, don't go back and forth with it. Hear the thoughts that cause you to be high. And then make you question why it's taking over your life. Because remember, you said it's taking over. If we's taking over your life to where you have to sit here and comment under my video to ask me what you should do, that's a problem with you versus you. Because I can't help you. I can only guide you to what you already knew to do. That's a problem with we right there. We will make you think as if you don't know anything. We can make you go against yourself. How? It's those thoughts that you're smoking. They don't belong to you. Because your mind's open to a whole different veil that we can't even see. There are different veils that we experience when we are opening our mind to smoking. So yeah, but be the version of you that is free. The thing is to free yourself, free the ego from the spell of being high or being continuously addicted to the program that it wants to follow. And then once you do that, remember, the version of you that's free has now already rewired the quantum identity shift. Because remember, your future has to find the identity that you shifted in. So remember, because to do that, you have to be able to own yourself. When you own the identity, now you know what the cause is. Because remember, this has been activated. You start replaying that loop through the dorsal striatum. Once you're doing that, you feel the void positivity. Because why? You shifted into a different lifestyle that you want to live in because you are mastering your life again. And the thing is too, it's because you want to do so. It's not because somebody told you to do so or you're obligated to do so. No. If you want to do better, stop buying bitter. Stop buying detriment. Stop buying negative presences that tell your life you're not meant to do more. When you're buying this, if it's taking over your life, the weed is basically playing tricks on you. But it's not. You're doing it to yourself. So you smoke those thoughts to where you don't have to confront them anymore. When you go into that better you, your life currently wants to rewire itself into working for you again because you're tapped in and in tune with this vibration right here, this frequency. This quantum field is a thought. When you have that thought, it's because you're being positive now. You put that void, the void is the observation that you can see infinite realms in. So when you project that through being positive, you now can feed this mastery of a moment that you came across by being in this realm already because you identify with a new shift of a new life that you have rewired into appreciating. Remember, having a better life, having a fruitful or a life that you can elevate or ascend into comes from rewiring the future that you are currently afraid to see today. Also, what you depend on to feel free quietly becomes the cage you live in. What you depend on to feel free quietly becomes the cage you live in. Don't get stuck in that cage. Change who you think you are and be different. Remember, change is good. Always. Change who you think you are and be different. When you're being different, that change becomes the difference. The major difference in your life. When you put it down, see what your life is looking like. And the thing is too, don't just look at it. Go buy a calendar, go buy an agenda, go buy a journal, and write down your progress. I mean, really when you appreciate yourself, you will do so many things for you that you didn't used to do before. And the thing is too, when you put down the addiction, you can now be there for yourself. Because you weren't there for yourself before. You were always running from something. But then when you face what it was that you were running from, look at who you became. If you want better, then change who you are into an identity you can be proud of. If you're watching this and you want to overcome weed, and you're thinking about who you want to become, what does that look like? Who does that person sound like? How do they wake up? How do they work out? How do they do their creation? You know, what do you do for yourself? How do you have financial freedom? What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing on your weekdays? Are your weekdays your weekends? Are your weekends your weekends? Is your weekend every single day? Is every day a Saturday for you? What does that look like? How are you doing for your family? How are you doing for you and your kids? How are you doing for your mental health? How is your mental health? Have you ever asked that? Has the weed asked you that? No. So why don't you ask yourself that? Your own parents won't even ask you that, so why do I gotta do it? Remember, if you want better, then change who you are into an identity you can be proud of. When you see that imagery of the future that you want to live in, can you be proud of that? When you see yourself as not needing it, then the habit will naturally go away. Because remember, you don't need it anymore. So when people say, hey, you want to go ahead and smoke and all that, I don't need to do that no more. Oh damn, you just better than, or like, do you think you're just better than us, or you're just too cool to smoke with us, or you lame or whatever. Or some people just be like, okay, that's cool, that's fine with me. You let go of that habit. When you let go of habits, a lot of times people can't let go of the habit. Should you associate with them, depends on the bond that you have with this person, with the memories that you hold on to. But now, if their habits are also causing your life to go down the drain, let go of them too. Let go of them as well. Because the thing is too, they'll naturally go away. And tell them how it is. I don't want to smoke with y'all because I don't just do that no more. I own who I'm being. I choose to be a better person because I changed what I used to do. And when you change who you are, people don't want to change who they want to be. Because that's just who they are. So you have to be able to be okay with that and appreciate them for being like that. Because at least they're being real with you. I'd rather somebody who lies to themselves lie in their truth. If somebody who smokes weed says, I can't let go of it and I'm okay with doing that, I respect you for telling me that because I know where you are in life. I can't be next to you. I can't be around you because you can let go of a minor addiction. That's a minor one. Major ones go just outside of just putting to your lips. That's just like some little baby shit. But other things that are a detriment to the brain, these things can really kill you. And the thing is too, you know, there's some people who get killed for weed. Sadly, niggas get finessed. Niggas get some Reggie Bush, and then next thing you know, niggas is getting their head split open, and it's just over a plant. Wow. And the thing is too, the plant is mind control if you really think about it, but it depends on how you control the mind when you're under that substance. But all in all though, always remember that you are the change that you can become. But in order to become that, stop being dependent on a substance that can make or break your life into being a creative. When you want to do things for yourself, just consciously, all you really have to do is consciously choose what you want to do. Remember, you don't have to live life on autopilot. You don't have to live life being really awakened if you choose to be. Now, of course, always be conscious no matter what. Never forget that bullshit. Because you got to always be awakened whenever you open your eyes. But don't be so dependent on the illusion. Remember, it's just a game with the mind. So when you're controlling the mind, do what you want to do. But don't let it take over your life. If something is taking over your life, stop being next to it. Stop learning from it. Stop watching it. Stop being around it. Because if you don't, where will you be? Who will you become? And what will you be doing when it's all said and done in your older ages? What you do in your younger ages will affect you when you get older. So if you can't stop doing something right now that's taking over your life, imagine what will happen to you when you get in your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, when you're looking back at life like, damn, nothing has changed. It's been 50, 60 years and nothing has changed besides the strain of weed that you want to smoke. And if you are where you want to be in life, I say by all means, smoke one for me, blaze one up. At least you're where you want to be in life. If you're in the future and you appreciate where you've been because you already met yourself there, by all means, go and smoke you one, because at least you where you want to be. If you don't see yourself being in the future, if you don't know what that looks like, don't pick up the blunt. Don't pick up that spliff. Don't pick up that cigarette. Don't pick up the alcohol. Don't pick up the pill. Don't pick it up. If you want to have fun by working hard. You'll always have fun when you meet yourself there. But what does that look like in that realm? That's already in between your mind and the gap that you fill it up with through the emotions that are tied into being dependent on smoking weed. When smoking weed is not that important, but if you choose to smoke it, by all means, be safe and love yourself in the process and forgive yourself for what you're doing, because remember, it's your nature being weakened from the spirit's capabilities of not being dependent on thought forms that could never smoke themselves. Your thoughts can't even smoke themselves into getting higher. So how high can your thoughts get when your thoughts can't even think for themselves? Have a great Nirvana Day, Divine Reflection.